Hello, we're rolling.
Oh, are we? Okay. What are we
Um,
talking about? 2022?
yes. So back then, I believe, was when the first GPT was released.
OpenAI, yeah. November, I think. October, November, followed by Perplexity in December. It's one of those
And I re
days.
and I remember thinking, oh, that's interesting, and then going about my day.
Yeah, this is the difference between you and me, Kat. I looked at it and I was like, I did a whole I did a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was like a caveman, which is ironic, really, isn't it? Um, it's just exploring that, and I knew straight away that a lot was going to change. Didn't know quite what though, and I was really I had a lot of fear actually, if I'm honest with you.
Hmm.
Especially when I was looking online, there wasn't even anything about GPT and OpenAI and XT and all this stuff, really. And then it started spiraling, and then there was all the videos on YouTube. It's gonna take our jobs, and people like on YouTube were saying like, if you could take over the world and kill all of us, mankind, how would you do it? And then this little chat GPT was, well, all I'll do is this, and it's like it's gonna take over the world, sort of thing. Um, so I did quite a lot of that, and I was like, oh shit, this is deep. But then when you get rid of all the noise and you actually realize, no, actually this is like an insane productivity tool. Uh,
Mm.
and you remove the fear, because I think that's what humans do, isn't it? Right? Whenever there's new stuff and there's a shift, because that's what's happening right now, is there's an insane shift in the market, all markets, and
Mm.
everyone is affected. Um, we're just lucky enough to be in the recruitment market, which has have a huge, huge shift. Um, but there's always fear. It starts with fear, doesn't it? And then you've got a few people who are just like, screw the fear, let's just have a look at it. And then you've got the early adopters, and then you've got people who still shit themselves. And then it's like, well, now I don't have a choice. I have to do it. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite interesting. So I waffled on a little bit then. Sorry.
No, I
Yes.
agree with you. I think it's
History.
who's eating the berries first in the forest that haven't been eaten yet before. And hopefully they do some good things. Is sort of the vibe I'm feeling. I think that there's kind of two main camps I speak to, which is the folks like yourself. I don't speak to too many who did that really early on and dived in and did have the sort of the scary, okay, what's going to happen moment, but then kind of went with it. I don't speak to too many people who are kind of like completely dismissive, but most people are pretty cautious of it. I think particularly in recruitment, I think we're looking to mainly to vendors to give us the answers to, okay, how does this work? How does it work in our business? And not to say vendors can't be a great source of knowledge, but there's also an agenda
Yes.
that might rightly or wrongly be there. And we didn't go to school for recruiting, so we're not going to go to school now for AI. Although I think LinkedIn is offering like an AI recruiting certification or
So it's
something.
Google.
Yeah, they are. Okay.
All tailored to using LinkedIn and Google, obviously.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yes.
exactly. So,
Yeah. And OpenAI as well, actually. There's a big education piece, which is what a lot of what I do anyways. But every single first call that I do is in either, okay, Nick, what is an actual agent? Like most people think they know what agents are, they don't, they're talking about automations or they're talking about ChatGPT. Then when we start actually talking about like full infrastructure AI projects that I do, the same question comes up every single time. In fact, I've had two calls this morning. Both of them had the same question, which was, how does this manage my data so that it's GDPR compliant? And how do I ensure that that information doesn't go to the sphere of the world, right?
mhm,
So there's definitely people are really, really, really optimistic because they can literally see, especially with recruiters, that they no longer have to do 60, 70% of their work anymore because it's all manual. But skeptical because all the vendors at the moment, in my humble opinion, I have an agenda, but I also speak to a lot of people that all say the same thing. It's generic dog shit.
mm,
I have my reasons as to why, but ultimately it's really generic and it's not been refined to recruitment at all. So that's then created even more skepticism of saying, like, Yeah, AI I'm sure is a really good thing. We've got ChatGPT, loads of projects, and it's working really, really well, but it's pretty crap when it comes to sourcing or finding this.
Hmm.
But again, that's because they don't necessarily know the actual real kind edge stuff of what you can do. They are just reliant on the vendors.
Hmm. And it makes sense. I think we're in a mindset shift that is going to take several years. I think the thing that scares me is that AI is moving a lot quicker than our brains in a lot of ways. So I think some of the feedback we got from the last podcast was that it was great to see it in action, but also how is it then going to be, when I say implemented, how are the people in my business going to respond to this, or how am I even going to, as a founder, a solo founder, change how I've been approaching recruitment, but
Mm.
also still keep what makes me special, what makes me the reason why certain clients and candidates will always be the first to call me. And I want to be really protective of my brand reputation that I built up over, for me, it's about 14 years or so. For others, it's a lot longer. I think we're really at that moment of really deciding what route to take there. When you have
The-
those questions then around, because I think that's a big one, right? Could AI actually run my business into the ground if I plug the wrong thing in and I'm GDPR non-compliant and get a big fine or whatever? Where like what guardrails do you think there really can be there?
It's a big question. I thought we were just going to talk about what an agent is. Okay.
Okay, we
No, no,
can.
no, no. I love that, and I'm sure people who are listening will have uh, the same sort of thing. Okay, so first thing is I don't think it's going to take several years for people to fully adopt this. I do agree that it is going faster than we can adopt it. I am in the weeds. I am working all the time on this, and tomorrow 15 new things are going to come in. The trick is you just ignore it all. You you basically just try and find a couple of single source of truth that sound trustworthy, and you go with that, and then you build it out. What most people are doing is they are doing what I did 2 and a bit years ago, which is they have loads and loads and loads of rabbit holes, and they are going all the way in that rabbit hole. They're forgetting about all the actual recruitment, and then they have fear that they're missing out and whatever else. So I don't think that the adoption is going to be that long, really, because I think the people are already game. I think that now it's about social proof, and it's
Mhm.
about actually, are there companies out there that are actually good at doing this? Again, I I have an agenda, but I'm trying my absolute hardest to not have that agenda. So I will look at this objectively as I possibly can. In answer to your question, um, yes, you can absolutely destroy your brand and get fined and all that other stuff 1 trillion% if you go with idiots. That's the honest truth. I've just got this thing about um and sorry but not sorry. If you're like an automator using things like Clay and all that stuff, as in like you're doing that for clients and you're listening to this, you and I aren't going to get on with each other because the problem is their fundamental principle is quantity, not quality. These guys who are going on LinkedIn saying I booked 50 meetings this week. Yeah, how many emails did you have to do for that you spammed? Now, I know we're not necessarily talking, I suppose we are talking about GDPR there, about how do you get the data. Reality is they're going to Apollo or Company Rich or whatever, and they're getting that data and they're just spamming it out. Something that's going to stick. Um, but if you do that consistently and you build your business models off of that, yeah, you're gonna affect your brand like
Mhm.
big time. Um, I think that what you need to maybe start thinking about is the GDPR piece is, in my opinion, a lot of this is about the centralization of your data points. So people might have Bullhorn, Loxo, Atlas, whatever. Okay, um, they're secure. They have servers. They're SOC 2 regulated. They are enterprise level databases. Okay, if there's a breach, it's unlikely. The databases that I use in parallel are something like Superbase.
Mhm.
So I have like Loxo, but then I also build a custom database that does the same thing. What I think the issue is that people don't understand. A lot of these LLMs, especially if you have paid versions, ideally with LLMs like Claude, not ChatGPT, who are more ethical anyway, and they are open about that. These LLMs don't share your data to learn their own
Yeah.
models. GPT 100% does, without question. It's almost like, term 50,000, subclause 99. Yeah, we don't use your data.
And that's the reason why some recruiters, though, I hear are saying they want to use GPT because so many other people have fed it information before them. And I
Yeah,
go, and I
100%.
go, okay.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. Listen, the thing is, when GPT first came out, and GPT is designed for personal use. Yes, of course, you can have business, APIs especially, but it's for business use. That's why you can have like 50 different chats and it all goes to one centralized memory, right? And then you can go in different chats and it remembers stuff. That's a cool thing about it. But it's taking all that data and it is definitely leaking bits of information because that's how models like GPT get better. They learn, right? And they recycle content. If you have a billion people using it, that's going to be new data, right? Which is better models. So in regards to the whole GDPR breaching or the whole like brand piece, is you've got to be really careful. When you get into the sophisticated stuff, when we're talking about agents, you need to be careful about the data points, i.e. using Superbase or Loxo or whatever. And you need to be thinking about the LLMs that are going to basically take that data, look at it, do something with it, use software to maybe enrich it, but you're just transferring information around. It's not being stored anywhere apart from the databases.
Mhm. I think that's the mental block that I had for a while, if
Yeah.
that's the right phrase. I was just thinking, okay, well, if I'm not using my CRM as sort of my one source of truth, that look, I'm forgetful and sometimes forget to plug things in anyway. Yeah, where is my shit, basically? Now I'm understanding it is somewhere. It's just not somewhere in a conventionally kind of set up place that a recruiter could look at, although you probably could develop something that I could still look it up like that, I'm guessing. Am I making
Oh, you're
sense?
talking about like data retrieval?
Yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, but I want to know so and so's phone number, do I just have to type it in every time, or can I actually still go to a database and
Yeah, I mean, but let me ask you this: why would you?
because
Let,
that's
let me
how my
ask.
brain's been
Let,
programmed, Nick.
yeah, but let me ask you this though, Kat. Again, and this is all kind of still coming back to this whole questions idea, which seems to be what we're talking about, right? Is about like GDPR compliance and data being everywhere, right? You make sure you're always consolidating. Things come in and then things come out of the database, right? LinkedIn don't openly say they don't like you connected to their database, yet they have endpoints. I can connect to LinkedIn, all right? As
Mm,
long as it's done within reason. Um, Anything that's on LinkedIn where they don't click that box saying don't make my data private, which nobody does because they don't even know the box exists, right? You can Google it. So it's public, it's free, it's public data. All right. That's how Apollo and that's how all these enrichment companies have it. So there's no GDPR issues there, right? Really,
if it's
because it's
public. Mhm,
public available data anyway. The GDPR issues come in with your personal notes, right? So if I've had a conversation with you, Can, I found out that you're on $250,000 and this, that, and the other, right? And I've made those personal notes. That's GDPR issues there because if that gets released, it could be very harmful,
mhm,
right? And if you're working with LLMs that are effectively closed off and they don't train data and you're just transferring it and interpreting it,
mhm,
then it's your ecosystem. Whereas if you do automations, the probability of that then getting leaked or sent to somebody else or whatever is significantly higher because you don't have the quality control surrounding it.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
It
And in
does.
regards to your question there, we are conditioned as recruiters to go on Loxo, which is this revolutionary, amazing thing. It's the same database as everything else, really. But I was a sucker. I went for Loxo. And it's not bad at all, by the way. I had no issues against Loxo. If you are watching this and you created Loxo, good job. It's very nice. Um, but this whole idea, like if you wanted to find candidates, You have to do your Boolean string. You have to fit out all your filters. Then it brings up 200 people. You know full well that 20% of that's good. So you're scrolling, you're scrolling, you're scrolling. My question to you is, why would you prefer to do that when you can actually just type, I'm looking for this, that, and the other, go and find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And AI uses searches completely differently, right? Which maybe we can talk about how it does that on another call, but it's receiving, it's Loxo is just data. Bullhorn, Mercury, all these things. It's just data storage with front ends that lets you point and click and it looks visual. And 75% of us humans are visual people, right? If you create a sub database like a Superbase, you connect that to say Claude, then what you've got is you've got your front end, a ChatGPT-esque front end, but now you've got that same data that you can ask it questions, and now you have reasoning, a reasoning model that can look at that data, interpret it, and give you answers. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. It's changing how we work essentially.
100%, yes, yes. So I know I'm kind of going left, right, up, and down, but this is a deep subject, really. Claude won't train itself on your data, but you can use that knowledge that it's created and you can put that back into your database so it self-learns, for example. All right. Or you can access all of the data. You just do it in a slightly different way. And that's where I think a lot of like ATSs and CRMs are really going to struggle, because that's what they're up against. And as soon as you start building very simple front end tools that turns things into pretty pictures, which you can also do right now, you want to ask the question of what do I need CRMs and ATSs actually for? I feel like I just
We'll just
answered that
leave that there.
question. Yeah, I answered that
Yeah.
question, but then I asked like 50 others. So, but then, I mean, that's my view. I know I'm quite passionate
Yeah.
about it, but that's because I speak to so many people who have these concerns. So, in a nutshell, very, very short, the way that you can help to ensure that it's compliant and secure and quality control is you build your own ecosystem. And that's where I genuinely believe everything is going. Do
Mm.
not use ChatGPT free. If you have to pay one, fine. But just know they probably are taking snippets of that information. It's happening.
Yeah, it's pretty much a given. Okay.
Sorry to 99.9% of the listeners. But it's
Get a
food for thought.
get a Claude account. Maybe
Listen,
we that
I should definitely get an affiliation with Claude. I should. And I
you
should get a
should.
kicker every single time. But the only reason I'm so passionate about Claude is they are ethical. And they have it written everywhere. Like, we do not use your data. We do not, like, they're the only real LLM that does that. And it's really, really good.
Hmm.
So it helps with the security piece, which is vital, especially in our
And
market.
yeah, and I think that's what that's a huge thing of what we all care about.
Mm.
I had planned to ask you about really what an AI agent is and does. I think what's really standing out is that it needs to be one that works for your business, not one that someone sort of tells you works for your business.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I think that's why these vendors are generic at the moment,
Hmm.
because there's a few reasons. You just open up another hole. Right, I'm gonna give a smaller summary of this time. I promise you. Um, a
Good,
lot of
because my
vendors.
laptop's about to die. Like I'm on
Okay, good.
3%.
A lot of vendors. This is supposed to be a two-way conversation. I feel like this just be preachy, so I do apologize. Um, So actually, you just come off 24-hour flights. You want this. You want me to talk, so you can just sit there. Right. Vendors are generic. I think that one of the reasons is because they are developers, and developers typically do things on logic. Obviously, this means that means that. It's conditional. Okay. Recruitment doesn't work like that. Recruitment has got a massive grey area. So you need to understand recruitment, number one. Number two is the way that they look at data. They won't necessarily have a super base or a pine cone or something like that, which is built for AI. That's why all the results are always generic. The agent stuff, though, what you said there, like if you strip everything back, an agent is really, really simple. All right. Actually, tell you what, Kat, what is an agent? Let me ask you, an agent, in your tired, dreary-eyed state
Yeah.
after coming on with a 24-hour flight, what is an agent?
An agent is a tool that you can deploy into your business
Okay.
that can understand instructions
Yes.
and based on those instructions perform tasks.
Okay.
You can do automations
Yes.
if you need to.
Yeah.
They can make decisions for you
Okay.
if you want them
Yeah. Right. I think it's time
to.
for anybody that's watching this. This is Marley.
Hey, Molly.
Okay. So Marley, this is everybody. Okay, Marley, what we're going to do is we're going to explain what an AI agent is. Kat did a good job there, but I think we can make it simpler. Okay, so you know how with Marley, he doesn't walk himself. Notice how his eyes raised there when I say walk. He doesn't walk himself. He doesn't feed himself unless there's food right in front of him. I have to do all that stuff. Okay, Marley at the moment is a chat GPT or a
Mm.
Claude or something like that. Okay, he's just an LLM. He can do stuff, all right? Now, an agent is basically Marley saying, "Don't worry, Nick. You keep doing what you're doing. I know where the food is. I know where the tin opener is. I make my own food. I'll eat it, and I'll also walk myself." All right. So it is the ability to be able to have functionality to do stuff. He's really looking into that screen. He's really
I know
into
I'm
this
getting
conversation.
lost in his on his big brown
He's
eyes.
so beautiful, isn't he? All right. Thank you,
Aw.
Marley. So basically, a really simple way of talking about agents is ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. You ask it a question, it gives you information back. Right? You have to do something. Yeah. Um, an agent is it'll be like, do you want me to do that? Do you want me to go and scrape LinkedIn? Do you want me to go and
It's a
get an email
two-way,
address from
yeah.
Apollo?
Mhm.
It just does stuff. So with Marley example, he'll just go and feed himself. He knows how to feed himself. I've taught him how to feed himself. Right?
Yeah.
He'll also make sure that he doesn't be cheeky and have the whole lot. He'll have exactly how much he's supposed to have. Yeah, it got really excited now because I'm talking about walk. It's only through like actually understanding what this stuff is and simplifying it,
Mhm.
and that's what we need to do. I'm a very simple person. I really am. I might not come
Same.
across like that, but I am a really simple person. If you give me something really complex, I will just turn that into a summary, and that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's all really an agent is. It's just it just does shit for you. Right?
AI agents, they do shit for you.
They just do shit for you. Yeah, yeah.
They can do shit for you, or they can do shit for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about how you say it. Oh, and that poses a question. Does AI
Mm.
know tonology? Does it know the difference between shit and shit? Yes. The answer
It
is
does.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you train it, it knows it.
Yeah.
So that's what an agent is. That's maybe an elaborated summary on things like the GDPR. But ultimately, if you have agents that are connected to software, i.e., your software or a company's software, that is, and you make it the right LLM, like a Claude, right, where it's got exceptionally high reasoning, it just changes everything. Um, everything. Like my
Mm.
my my database is just a bunch of fucking zeros and ones, right, and numbers, and
Mm.
a name, right. I just say to Claude or whatever system I'm using, like, what does my pipeline look like for this month or this week? And it just basically will look all of that, and then it will give me a commentary about it and who I should target, and why I should target them, and why have I not followed up with this person? It does
Yeah.
all this
So
stuff, right?
you're sleeping it soundly at night. I think at some point we need to get a compliance person on to like tell us we're absolutely out of our minds.
No, don't do that because they will tell us, and my whole business is fucked. No, but the funny thing is, though, genuinely, the funny thing is is that I think even a lot of these guys don't necessarily know. Either they're still learning. Everyone is learning, right?
But
Everything I
I
said
just
might just be complete crap, but it's not. It's
no,
logic.
I'm moving through the world right now, being like, I know I'm not the only person who is looking at what's going on and going, yeah, you don't know what you're doing. I only speak to people pretty much who don't know.
Yeah. Again, the amount of people that I speak to that they say, yeah, I'm all over AI, I got loads of agents, and I'm like, amazing. What is it? Let's go. Let's talk. Yeah, it's really cool. I tell it like how to this post, and then it'll write the post. I'm like, and then what? What do you mean? Well, then I copy and paste it and put it into. You're talking about projects. So like, but they would have learned from somebody else that this is an amazing agent. I got an email, funnily, 2 days ago from Mike Walmsley. In fact, no, I didn't.
Oh, I
No,
know.
that's a
Yeah.
complete lie. It's a complete lie. I didn't get the email. Sorry. A company that I'm working with got an email and they forwarded me. Goes, this is interesting. And I was like, oh, cool. I looked at it. I saw Mike Walmsley. I was like, straight away, I know exactly what this is. And it was literally, it was like, yeah, we have these custom agents that will set calendar invites for you, that will do this. And I'm like, and I just mentioned about saying every single one of these things are automations. These are not agents. Because I could just tell because of the terminology that they were using. So if people like Mike Walmsley, who, and Mike, if you listen to this, you need to sort this shit out, mate. I'm sorry. But if you are respected or known and you are teaching other people who do not know the wrong information, then it's just simply wrong information, right? Which then creates more fear and more probability that there's going to be GDPR breaches and all that stuff. And this is a genuine issue that we're getting right now, like 100%. I'm not saying that I have all the answers because I really don't, but I just see it as black and white. It's really light. Like, and surely you do, the amount of people that you speak to as well, right? Like, the education piece is so important for the adoption.
Well, it's very, I've spent a lot of time in back to back building, staffing companies, building TA functions. One thing recruiters are pretty bad at is investing in their ongoing education. Like there are places you can go, but you know what? We're like, oh no, I'm good.
Yeah. I
I'm
built
self-taught.
I built 200 grand last year. I'm amazing. Why do I
Which
need to learn anything else? But probably not
so
the listeners of this, right?
no,
Because
that's true. That's true.
I mean, again, I'm pretty much certain it is just my mum and probably your mum and maybe my sister and Marley
Mm.
that's actually listening to this. So that's fine. We can talk free,
Hey
not get into trouble.
mom.
Hey, mum. Um,
Yeah, I think honestly that's it. And I think I'm always like, ooh, is it? I think it's just the lazy way out to yeah expect Mike or whoever else it might be to teach me what I need to know so I can
yeah, of
keep
course.
muddling through.
Yeah.
Because change is scary, but also change takes effort, and yeah, some people don't want to apply the effort.
It's just getting its influence, isn't it? When you get into a position where you are a trusted figure, then you're able to influence people because they listen to the words that you say. Like that's just how
Yeah,
we work as peers, right? Um, again, like I got nothing against Mike at all, without question. It's just it bugs me. Stuff like this, it bugs me because my client is saying these agents are amazing, and I'm the dude that's building AI infrastructure for him, right? So
I
he's,
know
do you see what I'm saying?
you got too
So
much soul for this job.
yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. So, and that's somebody who actually knows what agents are, and they're still getting misled from other people, right?
Mm,
So
yeah,
imagine if you don't know what's available, you are just going to naturally go with what 15 other people are saying, even though 9 times out of 10 it's not actually correct. I'm not saying again, I'm not saying that everything there is incorrect, 100%. But agent is a big word at the moment, right? So marketing people, if you wanted to market myself, I will litter agent everywhere because it'll get the views. Okay,
hmm
that's the facts. Um,
yeah.
Right, I know we've only got a few minutes because I just got that little pop-up. I feel like we've discussed quite a lot. I thought we were going to be quite refined with what we say, but I feel like we just went war and peace. Maybe we'll just ask people who've listened to this. I mean, we've got a solid 10 subscribers on our YouTube now. So
Whoop, whoop.
if you are watching this on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button.
And that notification bell.
And that notification bell. No, actually, I think a better thing is if you actually wanted to, we don't care about that whole stuff. If you want to just reach out to us, we do have like a list of people that once we've done this, we'll just, okay, it's an automated message, ironically. But it'll just be it'll be the link. It'll be the link. And you can just access it instead of relying on. But I know how to use the automation, so it's different, Cat.
Yeah.
It will you'll just get it, so you haven't got to potentially see a post that either of us have done. You'll just get the access to it. It's just nice and simple. If you want to be added to that, then crack on, message us, and we'll add you to that. Or you can like and
Alrighty.
subscribe. Are we putting this on Spotify, Cat?
I think we should. I'm going to look into that.
All right, I think we've taken up way too much of everyone's time, but hopefully that was useful for people and interesting. Cat's a little bit sensitive, so if you do have constructive feedback, give it to me, and I'll filter it through to Cat. I'll just tell her that everybody loves what we're doing, Cat. Let's just change this, that, and the other.
That's funny. I thought you were the sensitive one, but okay, yes.
I'm sensitive.
You just want to know you just want to know everything first.
I'm sensitive. I'm just reflective, and I have a heart. Right. Anyway, Cat, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And anybody that's listening that's got this far, thank you very much for listening. We will see you again, won't we?
Cheers, guys.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
And scene.